Versatile Mage. Chapter 120. Moving Locations. Mo Fan also wanted to help Zhu Dawang's group. However, he was too far away from them. His fiery fist couldn't possibly reach that far. Also, Zhu Dawang's party was surrounded by magical beasts. Whether they could survive or not was still uncertain. After finishing his moves, Mo Fan lifted Xingxia up and quickly fled the building. Those magical beasts weren't blind, and having been so flagrantly disturbed, they wouldn't give up. Even if you were an intermediate class magician, they would still chase you. Intermediate class magicians were strong, capable of instantly killing a magical beast if their skills were perfected. But if there were many beasts, their sheer numbers could also take down a magician. Furthermore, if the beasts couldn't kill a magician, they could always cry out to their leaders. The general class magic beasts would never fear an intermediate magician. As expected, not long after Mo Fan used his skill, the whole building was surrounded by dozens of magic beasts, with many more on their way. Luckily, Mo Fan had fled quickly along with Yi Xingxia. If not, he would have paid with his life after saving her. Mo Fan now had only one star map book left. Unless those dozens of magic beasts were obedient, and stupid, enough to group themselves into a neat circle for him to hit them all with a fire fist, one intermediate class magician was certainly not enough to kill them all. Mo Fan quit while he was ahead, fleeing as fast as he could. Not long after, Mo Fan arrived at the Jiamei Bridge. At the bridge, there was still a dark motorcycle left by the military. If they didn't meet a general class magical beast, they could basically reach the safety shelter safely. The night was getting darker, and a fierce wind whistled in their ears. The night was black as a panther and blended into the dreary view. From Jiamei Bridge, it was easy to see Bo City covered in darkness. From time to time, bright magic spells could be seen from certain streets, and growls could be heard coming from the buildings. After so many decades of peaceful times, who would have thought such a catastrophe would fall upon this city? Or was this proof that the world was never truly peaceful, and war could always happen? It was completely different from the world Mo Fan was born in. There, humans were always starting wars with other humans. Here, it was hard for humans and magical beasts to live together. Mo Fan didn't know if Bo City would survive the next dawn, or if the magicians would be able to fully drive the magical beasts out. He could only follow his own beliefs while Xingxia hid, now in deep sleep, in his arms. When Zhang Xiaohao cried out, "I must make myself stronger," Mo Fan felt it too. He was lucky because the person he cared for most didn't die in this catastrophe, but he knew he wouldn't be lucky forever. If he had arrived at the freezer and found Xingxia's ice-cold corpse, he would have blamed himself his whole life. Why didn't he become stronger? "Xingxia, we're nearly there." Mo Fan's eyes were set on the safety shelter. Along the way, the butterflies inside him still had not settled. Xingxia took a deep breath. The feeling of being alive felt so good. "I heard there's a one-winged magic item. If your legs still aren't healed, I'll make you into a fairy," Mo Fan said. "It's very expensive." "Doesn't matter if it's expensive. Your brother, I, am good at earning money. I can even buy you different styles. Bird type, butterfly type, fairy type, monster wing type." "Ah, that's disgusting, doesn't fit our pretty style." Finally arriving back at the safety shelter, the rest of the night quietly passed. At daybreak, the clouds were overcome by the sunrise, and bright rays trickled down to the hills, rivers, and city. Mo Fan was half leaning against a wall, hazily opening his eyes. He could hear people cheering but didn't know why. After seeing the snow-white sky eagles coming from the direction of the sun, Mo Fan couldn't help but grow excited. They were reinforcements. Reinforcements had finally arrived. One big group of sky eagles, each one equivalent to an intermediate class magician. This southern city had faced disaster so suddenly, and on top of that, Bo City's location was relatively remote. If the military called for backup, it would normally take time. But from the look of this wing of sky eagles, The higher-ups must be furious. Otherwise, why would they transfer such elite Sky Eagle magician troops? Intermediate-class magicians in Bo City were limited. The 9 Sky Eagle troops under boss San Kong were all fighting alongside him against the Darkwing Wolf. Whether they were dead or alive, Mo Fan didn't know. It was hard to have enough intermediate-class magicians to fight those murderous magical beasts again, especially with that general-class creature, like a living nightmare. The army troops on Sky Eagles swiftly flew over Bo City and landed on the watchtower. Watching each high and grand White Eagle land, and seeing the aura of those military magicians, Mo Fan knew Bo City would finally be defended. The purpose of the Sky Eagle team was simple: to hunt and kill the general-class beast roaming the city. Once the general-class beast was dealt with, the servant-class monsters couldn't withstand the magicians' bombardment. The night before, magicians had needed to hide in the safety shelter, using a defensive position to fight against the beasts. But now, all the magicians had split into small groups, using the safety shelter as a strongpoint to deploy from and hunt the magical beasts in Bo City. The entrances of the beasts were being destroyed in succession. Killing one beast meant one less threat. The whole place was turning into an extermination zone. The extermination had gone on for a whole week, including the sewers being relentlessly cleaned several times over. Maybe a few rats were left behind, but they definitely wouldn't come to the surface. After many days of hunting, Bo City finally returned to a peaceful state. Only, Bo City was no longer the same. There were destroyed buildings everywhere, fallen bridges, and general chaos. Occasionally, a corpse was found by children playing, frightening them. This Bo City wasn't the old Bo City anymore. That evil rain had left many people with a shadow in their hearts. They couldn't sleep, and were even afraid of the rain. The whole city was bathed in gray-white. Many people lost relatives, and tens of thousands died. Even if the city still stood, it was no different from a graveyard. Everybody is leaving. Mo Jiaxing was sitting in the house, smoking with a sad face. Mo Fan's aunt Mo King was still alive, but his uncle's fate was unknown. The confirmed dead list didn't have his name, so it was possible his body was never found. The government says we Bo City citizens will be placed in another city, Mo Fan explained. It'll feel the same as being a refugee, displaced, living under others. I'll just stay here. You guys can go, Mo King said with a depressed face. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.